Hello and welcome to an extra special Pause Resume show where we actually now talk about the full Last of Us 2 game. I am, of course, your host, Mr. Mark, and I am joined by Mr. Craig and Mr. Alex. How are we both doing on this fine and beautiful day?
Yeah, I'm all good, thank you, mate. It's a bit miserable out there today, but can't complain.
It's the UK. Name a day when it's not miserable.
It's the middle of July here, basically. Give us a break.
The good thing now is we don't actually technically need to leave our house if we don't want to. So
yeah. That is true.
Stay indoors forever.
That is true.
So, talking of staying indoors, we've now all officially completed the game. So I guess we should probably break it down a little bit, maybe bit by bit. So let's talk about obviously the main character that we all love from the first game. What did we think of the opening moments? Well, day 1 to 3 of Ellie. So obviously, I think the start of it was obviously Joel dying, which we've touched on. But what I will say as well, apologies, there will be spoilers in this if you've not completed the game, so do not.
the title of it will be Last of Us Part 2 Spoilercast. So,
oh, good, because we might
try and make it. This is it. This is full nudity of The Last of Us Part 2 right here.
Full in. So yeah, what do we think? Let's give it a little go then. So yeah, let's start with Joel dying, I guess.
Joel dying. I mean, I don't know why I wasn't quite. I don't think I was expecting it so early in the game. I think that was it for me. I thought it was always going to happen, but it's going to happen way later. So I was surprised when it happened, and I couldn't get the image out of my head for days. I was going to bed and I couldn't get it out of my mind.
Is it? I don't know. Would you have gone if you were directing the game and you're like, right, we're going to kill off this beloved character, even though he's already been in one game. He's like probably the most beloved PlayStation character alongside like Nathan Drake and I don't know, Spyro and Crash. And you were tasked with killing him off. Would you have chosen a golf club to do it?
It's just the whole way it happened. I think when he gets first shot in the leg, you're like, no, what is happening here? And then he just gets absolutely battered. And the longer you take as Ellie in that house, that'll take ages because I check every corner of it. All you can hear is him getting battered the whole time in there.
did you
I didn't even think about that.
Did you not think, oh, I better go really quick? Or you were like,
I did, but I was like, I know what it's like. There's bound to be some sneaky little card laying around here that I've got to get. There wasn't. If I think the only place in the whole game and there's nothing to find.
Hold on, Joel. I've got a card to find first.
Hold on a minute. There's an extra round of two handgun bullets here. I need to collect them first. You never know. I think it's weird. I would have liked to play a little bit more as Joel, to be honest with you. I think, and it's like it's just it's just a horrible way to go, right?
I'm glad they did it early because I kind of like going into it. I knew that probably Ellie or Joel was either going to die or like be like I don't know disfigured or like lose an arm or a leg or something like that. I knew something crazy like that was going to happen. With them getting that out of the way, I was like, okay, good. Now I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I guess it lays out the motivation as well. So it's like, right now I've got purpose. Go hunt down this woman.
Yeah, that's very true. It was just. I guess you did see more of Joel anyway during the game, didn't we? So, like, it's not like he was completely gone.
Yeah, the flashbacks. I think like one of the things as well that kind of stuck with me afterwards, and I actually forget the quote, and I'm kind of jumping away here, but one of the flashbacks when Ellie was at the kind of dance or whatever, and then Joel gets involved with some guy don't like these y'all lesbians or whatever he was doing. Seth, that's his name, Seth. I think the last thing Ellie actually says to Joel is something like, don't fucking fight for me or something like that. Like that's the last word she ever says to him. And it's like,
right at the end of the game they show you that. Like one of the final things you sort of see is that basically that trailer that you see ages ago when they like first released it, which is weird.
Yeah.
It's the flashback that she has in the barn, isn't it? When she then realizes she needs to go back and finish because I guess it's like I feel like probably the reason why the whole thing's happened is because she feels she's got something that she owes Joel because of how she left it with him to let at the end, sort of thing. But
I can't remember. There was a bit as well where Joel's on the porch playing his guitar, and you go up to him like in the cutscene. But I can't remember whether that was after that dance scene or it was before. I feel like it was after.
That
But then it kind of.
Yeah, so like sorry to jump in there, but like in the flashbacks and stuff. So that scene you're talking about is before the barn scene, but in the game it's played afterwards.
Yeah.
So it's
Mm.
a bit,
okay, I'm with you now. Yeah.
yeah, it's a bit confusing, but it's like I don't know. It's like Ellie really struggles, and maybe we'll come to this a bit later. But like Ellie really struggles to forgive people for stuff.
Mm.
Like it's like a character flaw.
yeah,
Just one example of it.
yeah. Well, I mean, talking about characters, let's probably because we meet a few in those 1 to 3 days of Ellie. So what do you? Well, I know I'm going to touch on a couple here. I know Craig's favourite one is obviously Jessie, but what do we think of Jessie as a character, Tommy, Dina being pregnant, and then obviously with we obviously see her pretty much kill most of the people in the 1 to 3. So like Mel and Owen and getting killed at the aquarium. What we all? For me, like personally, I thought the first 3 days was like really really good, like with Ellie. I'm with you. Like Jessie was quite an annoying person, but yeah.
I didn't mind Jesse. I don't know. I thought he was alright, to be fair. And then even when he kind of comes back for you and all that later on, I was like, I don't mind this character.
I don't know, man. He just didn't.
Did
I just didn't like him. Him. I don't know why. I found all the new characters really hard to just wrap my head around. Like I'm just going to go through them, and I like Jesse. I just didn't like him. I don't know. It just seemed a bit creepy. Owen as well also seemed a little creepy to me.
Owen, did you say?
Yeah, like, I didn't enjoy from Owen.
Owen was a weird one.
I feel like really, unless her group, I didn't really get on with that well. I was kind of like, yeah, not really sold any of you.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of Dina, and I didn't really like Mel either. I didn't think much of him.
I completely agree.
Yeah, Dina.
Yeah,
I kind of feel like I don't know. It's like you said. I didn't really kind of click with any of them. I mean, except for Jesse, I didn't really mind. But the rest of them, I was just kind of like.
The one I liked, we're probably touching it a bit more, but it's the one that Abby was with, the boy.
Yeah.
You know, the one that kind of. Yeah, I quite liked him.
Yeah.
But I found them a bit, because I don't even think I can't remember his name now, but the Joel's brother, you don't even get to see him that much either. Yeah, Tommy, I don't think you saw him that much, to be fair. I liked that he was on a warpath, but I mean, probably more of him.
Yeah, I thought what was really cool about the first 3 days. So I'm actually playing through it again, and I've just got to the part where you actually switch to Abby. So I'm like day 1 to 3 of Ellie is quite fresh in my mind, and it's pretty cool following Tommy, but kind of not following Tommy. And you can just see his destruction and his path, and you're kind of following him. You like the first torture scene that you kind of walk in on, it's done, and it's just like, oh yeah, that's Tommy. He does this, and I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, like I agree with you guys. Like the most of the new characters, I just didn't like. I don't know what it was. They just felt slightly off. I think the only one I ended up warming to at the end was Dina, and I think that is literally because she grew up as a character and like, I don't want to say evolved because that sounds like she's a Pokemon. Yeah, she just became an adult, like a proper adult type thing. Whereas maybe Ellie didn't with the Vengeance.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you guys, because I don't actually know, but I don't know how old they're all supposed to be, because I found it really weird that like I felt like they came across like quite young, like I want to say like late teens, maybe even early 20s, but they seem to like rule both the like camps, and I was just like, it's a bit weird, like.
Yeah, I think the one thought I had very briefly was when they first said Dina's pregnant with Jesse's kid, and I was kind of like, he seems like a lot older than her. Like,
yeah.
So Ellie is 19, and Dina, no confirmed age, but she's believed to be around 20.
Okay. And I'm assuming Abby was probably the same age, right? So,
So I would have got the impression that Abby was slightly older, but I reckon she probably is around the same sort of age.
I think Abby is a couple of years older. I'm pretty sure. Oh,
yeah,
because when
Yeah.
you have the flashback to the hospital scene, I got Ellie was like 13 or something then, whereas Abby is
Yeah.
probably about 16.
yeah, that's actually a fair point. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, on that with the hospital scene, obviously it was later on, but obviously, like Ellie thought Joel's death was because of her, and I thought it was quite an interesting. I've not got a great memory, so I couldn't remember if it was in the first one, but it's quite interesting that Joel like basically destroyed the Fireflies because he wanted to save Ellie's life and stuff, and it actually was just all about revenge on Joel, not actually on Ellie. What was your views on that? I actually thought it was quite a good twist, to be fair, because I wasn't expecting like it to be just that.
Yeah, I never really, until they said, "Oh, Abby's dad was who Joel killed." I couldn't really put my finger on what I thought was going to be the twist of it.
Mm.
And then it's kind of like, oh, okay, so it's setting you up to try and think, oh, she's not so bad. It's more of a revenge sort of thing. But yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, because at the end, I can't really remember the end of Last of Us One. Besides the fact you kill the Doctor and you get Ellie out of there, but I don't remember like what happened to the Fireflies. Or have you ever seen anything else happen to the Fireflies after that? I can't remember.
No, that moment with Joel killed the Fireflies. That's what's finished them, because I think a lot of them were just like, well, what's the point? And that's obviously why they disbanded. I've just done a little bit of Googling. I just want to let you know something from one of the Wikipedia pages. Jesse was 21 years old, but it doesn't really matter because it also says here that he's deceased.
Well, at least it's up to date.
Yeah, that is true. Gunshot to the head by Abby is the cause of death. So cheers for that.
Yeah, I mean, on that with the gun, I thought that was a really like I was not expecting that whatsoever. Literally, especially on like day 3. Like, just get the game, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this is happening right now. It's Abby versus Ellie straight away.
I mean, if you like think of the main characters, would I be right in thinking like 75% of them are dead, roughly?
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. I think it was only 4 left, wasn't it? Well, no, sorry, 5. Tommy survived, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll come to that later, but yeah, that's an interesting one.
But yeah, no, I just thought, as things go, I mean, personally, was not expecting it to be so quick that Abby and Ellie were like face to face, ready to go. But then, obviously, that is then where the sort of turn happens, and you then switch to Abby.
Just quickly, just to add a bit of different perspective, because I'm going through it again. So I've obviously just finished the bit where you travel into the aquarium as Ellie after by the way, the scene where Ellie kills Nora is absolutely fantastic when they fall into the spores and Nora's like, why aren't you coughing? Like, why aren't you dying with me? And then Ellie is like, I felt like the Terminator at that point. I was like, bitch, you are going down here. I don't know if I was supposed to feel empowered by that, but I did.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I like that scene.
Yeah, but the aquarium bit when you go in again, like it was fresh for me, and like I look at it a bit differently because obviously the dog, I think its dog's name is Alice, isn't it? Like I killed Alice, and I'm like, oh, that's sad. Whereas the first time I was like, stupid dog.
Yeah,
face.
just another dog.
Yeah, I still didn't care for Owen or Mel, but the dog, yeah.
It was a bit of a like surprise one, wasn't it? Obviously, because she was pregnant as well, and she looks at the belly and she's like, "Oh, I just killed someone that was pregnant." But then almost she was like, "Actually, I don't really care because you killed Joel, so f you."
Yeah,
I'm gonna. But I thought it was good, and it's quite funny as well with the aquarium because you think you're just going into an aquarium and that's about it, but little do you know that you're actually going to spend half the game in the aquarium.
Yeah, that's true.
Like you just think it's just one little bit, but actually that's where your home is for the next 20 hours. But,
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. So go on.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, like what I have discovered as well is like day 1, day 2, and day 3, their lengths are actually quite different. I thought when playing it they were roughly the same, but the days actually get shorter as you go on, which I thought was quite interesting. Now that I'm playing it now, maybe I was just a bit cautious the first time around, but yeah, I think the first half of the game, and we'll come on to this later, like pacing wise, is pretty much spot on, I think.
Yeah, I think I agree. That whole Ellie segment you get to play was kind of what I remembered loving about the first one. It was just fine, this kind of the Joel banter, but then you got a little bit of it in a flashback. Yeah, it was really, really good.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you there. I did find that there wasn't as many zombies in this one, if I'm honest. Like, I felt like it was more to do with like you fighting actual people. Like, obviously, I feel like, again, my memory's not great with the first one, but I felt like because you were obviously going to a point, there was only like another gang of men, like of people that you were against, and then it was the zombies. But then with this one, I thought it was actually more about getting past people than zombies, which was for me was a bit. I quite liked killing the zombies, and because I think we mentioned on the one we did previously, I felt like you couldn't do a lot of stealth killing on there because you got spotted quite a lot. So that would be like my only gripe with that game a little bit, if I'm honest.
Yeah, there was definitely way more like human on human sort of fighting in this game than there was the last one. I can't remember. Again, I'm the same. I can't really remember how many clickers and stuff you fight in the first one, but I felt like I really enjoyed what I did fight in this one. I think those are the best parts of this game, is where you get to go on. It's dark and it's dingy, and you've just got fatty rats running around at you. It's just definitely the best bits.
Yeah, there definitely wasn't enough clickers, like the ones that are blind but can just hear everything. Because that was my favorite part of the original game, was taking on the clickers and having to like craft a shiv, and make sure I had a brick, like, because the brick was the most useful thing along with a shiv. Whereas in this one there was less of that and more. I feel like there was more big boys, shall we, to quote Ellie. Even in the first section as Ellie, there's the bit where you fall through. I think it's like an arcade. You fall through, and there's like a I don't know if it's a blow through or whatever it's called. But there's like that bit, and then in the second section as Abby, there's more of those, and including one particular bit which we'll no doubt talk about.
God, that one, lost a lot of calories that night when I fought that thing. Yeah, no, well, we should probably let's get on to a bit more then. So obviously the switch happened, which was, again, for me, I wasn't expecting it as such. I was kind of expecting to play as someone maybe, but we did then switch as Abby and see her like journey to take revenge, obviously with the flashbacks. But like, what were your thoughts of Abby, I guess, and what did you think about her like 1 to 3 day that we then planned out? I did think they were longer than Ellie's story, by the way, the 1 to 3.
They definitely felt longer, that's for sure. And I think she definitely had. I feel like she had even less sort of clicker moments, but the ones she did have were like properly intense. Like, but I feel like she had way more human fighting to do as well. Like, the amount of people she had to kill and get through was mad. But I feel like with Abby, I really didn't like her at first. I'm still not sure now, but I definitely was more by the end. The very end, I was kind of like, I feel like she's been through it now. Sure, I'm all right with it now.
Yeah, it's I quite like Abby, actually. Now that I've had time to kind of sit on it, I'm quite a fan of Abby. I'm almost, like, when we talk about the end, maybe we'll talk about. I'm almost erring to the side of maybe she's actually the hero of the whole like thing. I don't know. I'm still not sure in my head, but considering everything. But I'm really interested to see when I go through Abby's 3 days now, like how long they are. Now that I know the route and everything, but yeah, she grew on me throughout, and the section in particular, I think it's day 2 with Lev, when you're up in the skyscrapers, or the sky bridges or whatever. I thought that was the first proper bit where there was like good banterish. I hate that word, but yeah, banterish dialogue that was similar to the original between Ellie and Joel, between those two.
Yeah, I'm the same. You feel like it turns slightly then, and you're kind of like, this is kind of what I liked about the first one, but it's people that I've known. And that was kind of the first time I started enjoying other characters that weren't in the first game.
Yeah, I agree. You kind of like, you almost understood why she's doing what she's doing. The only thing that I would say, like, question is, I'm assuming she wasn't like authorized by the leader of the pack, we'll call them, because they were wolves, but like, to go and kill Joel. Thought I dropped that one in. Yeah, like, it's weird that she had so many people with her for the whole Joel thing, because like when you see the story, not many of them other than Owen really were with her, if that makes sense. Other than, I can't remember his name, the Spanish one.
Man, I was trying to remember his name. All I keep having in my head is him saying pendejo, pendejo. I don't know what his name is.
Yeah, I literally couldn't think of his name, but I actually quite liked him, to be fair. But I just thought it's weird because I'm assuming Mel did it because Owen, but like there were so many of them there, but I don't think they were actually authorized to obviously go and do what they were doing. She's just gone because he's obviously killed her dad, and then I guess because they grew up with him as their leader, maybe that's why. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think they were allowed to kind of do it because obviously Joel killed, arguably the most important person in the world at that time, the only guy who could like get the cure from Ellie. So I think they were allowed to go off in their group. We'll have to check. But then I think kind of like once that was done, it was, I think, from Isaac, the guy in charge, was kind of like, okay, now you fall back into line and we get back to normal shit now.
Yeah, because it kind of turns on her, doesn't it? So obviously something happens with Owen, and then it kind of makes, she then goes for Owen and then becomes an outcast in that whole group, really, doesn't she? So
yeah, I think that's because like the lines kind of blurred between, like, we've not mentioned it yet, but obviously you've almost got like three factions. You've got Ellie's, you've got the WLF, which sounds like a knockoff WWF promotion, and then you've also got the Seraphites or Scars or whatever. Like, what did you guys think of like having factions, I guess?
I quite like the faction thing because you'd believe that there would be in that sort of how long it's been going on for. The thing with the Scars for me was when you first see them as Ellie, or
yes,
and she gets, there's that moment where she gets shot by the bow and arrow for the first time. That was a bit like, wow, shit. But that, when you first see them there, I was kind of like, wow, these are gonna be like really sick kind of people, like hanging up people up, and their intestines are all kind of hanging out and all this sort of stuff. But then I feel like as you play as Abby and you see their like base and who they are, I was kind of like, that's not really the vibe that I got from them when I was playing as Ellie. They seem completely different, like, not threatening, just another group of people, really.
Yeah, what I didn't enjoy is when you'd be walking down the like street or in the house and you just hear that whistle noise and you think, oh, there's going to be flipping loads of them, and there's a nightmare. But yeah, it was a weird cult. I'd be interested to find out how they all got the same clothes when there's literally no makeup.
I think there's like a WLF jacket as well that a lot of them are wearing. So I don't know what's going on there.
Got some makers. There's a fashion designer somewhere.
Post-apocalyptic fashion.
Yeah, but no, I think with Abby's like journey, you kind of got why she did it as well, even though it was Joel. I mean, I was still firmly like team Ellie and Joel because I wanted Joel to not be dead, so I still didn't have that much sympathy for her. But you kind of get it. And what I know we did flashbacks for Ellie. What did you enjoy Abby's flashbacks? Because obviously that's from the other side of Five. Because we forget Fireflies was actually not bad guys in Last of Us 1, but then I guess, like you said, there's no real bad guys in this one as such. But
no, I feel like the worst kind of group was probably the group right at the very end. They seem like properly sick, sort of the in California.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, it's it's interesting, the whole like factions and
And I guess
I don't know.
Abby,
It's all grey, isn't it?
yeah, it's Abby's flashbacks in particular. I mean, you were. I can't really remember many of them besides kind of running through the hospital and being in the aquarium a lot. Like I feel like you were constantly in the aquarium when you're doing Abby's flashbacks. I can't really remember any others though.
There's the one I've literally just finished again is the one where she's at, I think it's the zoo, and they find her, Owen, and her dad find the zebra, which I thought
Oh,
was the directors kind of harking back to the famous scene in the original where Ellie and Joel see the giraffes.
yeah, that's right.
Like, I feel like throughout the whole game, there's a lot of symbolism between Abby and Ellie. Like you've got those two, and I think they kind of set it up as like Abby's the light and Ellie's the dark.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other like stuff like that going through the entire game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's probably get onto this. Probably the craziest bit of the whole game. The Rat King. I don't know why it's called the Rat King, by the way. It only did look like a rat, but
it's called the Rat King because I looked this up because I always say I'm busy, but I always find a spare moment or two to find shit like this out. So there was some kind of experiment or something. I don't know if it was experiment or it naturally happened of literally rats joined with each other, like 6 or 7, and it would be like in a weird kind of circle. I mean, it would die very quickly. But yeah, the Rat King is an actual thing. And obviously this is a bunch of clickers and that have just like morphed together to create the most disgusting boss I think I've ever seen in my life.
How did you find it?
You're not the only people that have said rat like boss to me. Like I've had another mate who said, "Oh, the worst bit was that rat." I can't remember what he said, but he said something rat related. So there's definitely a vibe there with that.
Yeah, that's his official name, Rat King.
Yeah, he's called the Rat King.
Oh, is he actually called the Rat King? That's brilliant.
Yeah, in the concept art, it's officially called Rat King.
That's brilliant.
I googled it because I didn't know how to bloody beat that thing.
I died so many. Like I think the thing with that, it felt like Dark Souls in a way, where it was like dead and you're straight back in and dead again. And I must have died like probably 6 or 7 times before I finally found somewhere to run to like create a bit of distance. Because at first I was like, you can't want me to kill this thing because you're giving me other clickers around as well. So it wasn't just him. It was just like, this is a joke.
See, I didn't know that you had to, when he separates, I kept going after the little one because he kept chasing me. And I thought, well, he's quicker than the other one, so I'll keep trying to kill him first. But you're not supposed to, so he doesn't actually die. No. So then I just kept getting like absolutely annihilated for quite some time.
So then, I got very confused because I think at one point, I was going to say Ellie, it's Abby, isn't it? I think it's Abby says, "Oh, there's no point in me wasting my bullets or something." Because part of the fight, you're not supposed to like shoot it. So I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm just going to run away from this because something's clearly going to happen." I was like, "Okay, nothing's happening. Maybe I need to find like some kind of electrical thing to electrocute or something." And I was running around for ages, like I can't find that. And I was like, "Should I just unload on it and just see what happens?" And I did, and then eventually, yeah. It died, but the build up to that was so intense. Like you could hear it, you could see the blood across the floor, and I was like, "Oh man, Resident Evil 8, let's go, let's do this."
There were so many clickers as well just before it. Just remembering it because you're searching for that first aid box, aren't you? And there's literally like you open one door and it's like, "Yep, here they come." Oh no, there's 3 of them.
I think it's actually my favorite gameplay moment of maybe like the series. I just thought it was so well done, and I loved the horror vibes in it. I just thought the whole build up was brilliant.
And you get those moments in particular where like you're running away from it in like a cutscene-esque moment, and you go down like a tight gap, and you've got to like mash the square button to get through it, and you can see it behind you like trying to grab you. And it's those moments where it's just like I couldn't be pressing that button any faster.
Yeah,
it's just how high my heart rate must go when those moments come along. It's just brilliant.
Honestly, I had to dry my hands at one stage. I was that sweaty during that.
with stuff like that, I'm always like really nervous and tense at first, and then when it goes on just a little bit too much, I'm like, right, come on, let's do this.
Yeah.
And then when I saw it, I was like, nope, I want nothing to do with this now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That whole bit, when I was fighting it, I felt like it was a tiny room, like you were in like a box and you couldn't really do anything. But then once you killed it, I was like, this place is massive, like in terms of where you can go. Like I don't know what happened if I just like wasn't noticing it.
It's actually funny you say that, because I literally feel this. Now you said it, I feel the same way. Because when you kill it, you're then supposed to follow that little one, aren't you? And I was like, well, where the bloody hell is he? I can't find him anywhere.
Yeah.
I swear it's smaller than this.
Yeah, it was like the first time where like I got away from it, and then I'm in one of the rooms. I'm like, okay, I'm good. I think I was crafting, and then all of a sudden, just in front of me to the right, it just bursts through the wall. I'm like, what? No.
Yeah, did a lot of that. Yeah. Another bit that I was actually Abby. So I think this is why I wanted Abby to die so much, because she kept putting me through a lot of trauma. But it was the bit when you save the two scars. And then it's kind of like they make it play like they left you, and then there's like so many like clickers and zombies that are coming in, and I don't know about you guys, but I didn't have very many bullets left, so I was literally like, oh brilliant, I've got no more bullets, there's 3 clickers coming in, and all I've got is a brick, so brilliant.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's when that game shines, though. Like when you've got like 2 bullets and a brick, you're like, right, I've got to get through this, because more often than not, like the kind of game mechanics kind of help you out, and it's like just really satisfying when you do it.
Yeah, I remember in that bit actually where, because you basically have to run around for a while until they show up to get you out. And there was that moment where I was literally, I was same thing, had like very little bullets left. I'm just running to try and like see if I can kite them somehow. And then I saw they're like, "I'll come up here," and I was like, "No, I've gone too far, so I have to go turn around and come back." And I died, had to do it all again, and I was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, I kept running around to start with, going, there's no way for me to get out of this. I've literally got to like shoot everyone here. And then I think it was the first one, you finally do like the first wave, and you're like, oh, thank God that's over. And all of a sudden you just hear another clicking noise, and you're like, oh no, there's actually more of them. And then
Coming through the
just kept
ceiling.
coming back. And I think the big monster came as well, and you're like, oh my God, this is actually like never going to end.
I don't know about you guys, actually. I'm just talking about the big monsters, the level 3 ones, whatever they're called. I remember when you're playing Ellie early on, you find like a piece of paper that basically tells you about like what the monsters are and that. And it says like, oh, basically don't fight this, just run. And the first time you see it is when you're in like the subway sort of bit as Ellie.
Mm.
And I remember that bit, I was like, I'm not even messing, I'm just running. Like, I'm just going to run out of this place. But then when I was Abby later on, I was like, one arrow in a explosive shotgun round is down. So I felt like they suddenly became really easy by the end, whereas at the start I was just terrified of them. I don't know if it was just me being less scared of them, or it just generally felt easier to kill them.
I guess at the end of day 3 then with Abby, we then come back to the end of day 3 of Ellie as well, and then it becomes the big fight. What did you guys think of it? Now, I personally thought when it came to fighting as Abby against Ellie, I did not want to kill Ellie, so I was really reluctant to like actually do this bit. I didn't want to, because I thought that's where obviously it was going to go. I thought it was really clever though how they were doing it with Ellie. Like obviously Abby had all the power, but Ellie was using like had the brains and stuff. But yeah, what did you guys think of the fight scene?
I was definitely the same as you. When we first started, I was like, I don't like this. I don't like beating Ellie. That's just not. But she was such a little shit as well. Like when she was placing those bombs around and that, and it was just, you could see her like weaseling her way around. It's just like, they captured that character very well. But yeah, it was pretty brutal.
Yeah, I like. First of all, I just want to say thank you to Naughty Dog. I really appreciate the fact I got to see Jesse get killed again at the end of day 3 of Abby. So thank you very much for that. But I completely agree with you guys with regards to Ellie and Abby. I was like, I don't really want to kill Ellie, but after a couple of minutes, I was like, this little shit, I'm actually going to take you down now, because she just drove me nuts because she was so annoying. But like in a good annoying. Like I thought it was really clever, smart way to do it. Take my gun off me. That's the bit where I actually died the most in the entire game. I struggled to stealth my way through that successfully, and I kind of had to think outside the box. Like I remember in the first game, I would forever be like throwing bricks to move the enemies around, Whereas
Yeah.
like in this game, I feel like the only place I did that was here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
no,
kept dying. I died a couple of times there, and it was, I think both times was because I was about to go behind her, and then her being so annoying, she'd like turn around at the last minute and then just shoot me with like the shotgun or whatever she had, and I was just like, well,
stab
what am I
you,
supposed to,
like-
yeah. I was like, what am I supposed to do here? Like, I've literally like crawled all the way around, and you decide you're going to turn at the last minute because you're not going to go around that corner anymore. But
Does
I
does the
thought it was clever.
game does the game I can't correct me if I'm wrong, but when you Abby kind of wins that, does the game force you to press square to strangle Ellie, or have I made that up?
I think you do, yeah. Or
I
you're
think
doing
you do,
punch
yeah.
or something like that. You're definitely doing some when she's on the ground, when you're all like on top of her.
Mm.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
she gets stopped, doesn't she? Like, the little guy comes in. Oh no, does Dina come in saying she's pregnant? And then
Dina's already like on the floor by this point, I think.
Yeah,
It's
she
Lev
got
that stops it.
yeah.
she said enough's enough, isn't she? So
Yeah, because Abby was about to go full dark and be like, yeah, because she said something about Ellie said she's pregnant and she said, oh good. And then
Yeah.
that's it. That's it. Yeah, that's it. And then
I think
they're trying to get stopped.
Yeah, I think that's like a really important part in like Abby's journey as a character, because it's at that point where she switches from full revenge mode to like forgiveness.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost like taken on as like being like almost like a mother, isn't she? Because she's now looking after that young boy, I guess. So
yeah.
And I think it's like it's also just after the part. I might be wrong on this. I'm pretty sure it's just after the part where she realizes that like she's lost. Well, obviously she's lost Owen forever because he's dead. But like just before that, despite the fact that they had sex and all that kind of stuff, like she's lost Owen because she's been filled with vengeance, and then in that time, like he's gone off with Mel. So she's sort of like
you can't say sex scene and then she's filled with.
You know what? Yeah. But
yeah, I know. Yeah.
Good.
That is good. Well, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I thought that might be it. Like, I thought, here we go. That's the end. And then obviously it cuts to Ellie and Dina with a baby. So it must have been I think the baby looked about one, or at least one, maybe a bit older. But they're obviously at a farm and living their lives. And then you think, oh, okay, so we're just going to see this out and then the end of it. But obviously that was not the turn it took. So what were your guys' initial thought? I was actually, for myself, I thought I was ready to finish that game. Like,
well,
I felt like
before that, obviously you go to that Seraphite Island, don't you, as Abby, and take on.
I thought that was after.
Oh, is it? Have I messed this up?
I thought you played Ellie for a bit, and then she's like, "I need to go and find her," and then that's when it cuts to Abby. I thought that's when it.
I thought the Seraphite Island was before, because I thought it got to the moment where she's like sitting on a tractor. She's got the baby with her. She sits on the tractor, and I was like, right, here comes the credits. And then it was like, nope, apparently not. But then I really can't remember now because.
Oh, maybe. I'm not sure that I thought it went back to Ellie, and then they went back to Abby for them to go and find her mum, the kid's mum.
Anyway, but both things definitely happened, so it's not like a butterfly effect thing.
Well, let's talk about Abby and Liv going to the campsite, and that
it jumps around so much.
It's definitely before, because she's with the girl, not the brother, and then they go get her from the island. She dies, and then they go back to the aquarium where everyone else is dead.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
The Seraphite Island is before the Abby and Ellie fight?
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah.
You might be right there,
dead by that point, and she's like, "Oh, I'm with you now."
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, then actually that makes sense, because then I think what you're saying is right, because then when she's going to kill Ellie and that, she then realizes that she's got this little boy to look after.
Yeah.
I think
So
you might be right.
I thought that Seraphite Island bit, that was the bit where I was like, this is too long now. This game is going somewhere. Little did I know there was another 10 hours to go. But like, yeah, I thought it was going to be that. I thought it was cool having it near the Space Needle, and like they've had it so the water has actually cut off part of Seattle, so like part of it's an island. I thought that was pretty cool planning, world building, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I thought that was a bit for the game for me where it started to drag on too long. And like you guys, I thought when we went to Ellie on the farm, I thought, we'll play a classic Naughty Dog epilogue here. You know, all chilled. Look, everyone's kind of happy, but with unfinished. Part 3. Whoa. But no, absolutely not.
What
went on?
What I forgot, what we haven't mentioned yet, actually, which is probably something. What did you think of the Scar, like the big people? Do you know what I mean? Do you know the ones I mean? Like there was like women and men that like they hold like axes or massive hammers. Like
upgraded bodyguard people, like.
They were the equivalent.
There was one bit I did.
Oh, go on.
God, sorry. Okay, yeah, no. So there was one bit that I was doing.
Yeah.
So right, that when you were like trying to break into the campsite, and I was doing all the stealth stuff, and I stumbled on one of those big characters, which obviously you can't kill just like normally. So then, without knowing, I had like 7 people shooting at me whilst this person was waving its massive hammer at me. So I was like, might have to restart the checkpoint here.
Yeah, they are the equivalent in Uncharted when you start seeing enemies with helmets on.
Yes,
that's what they were.
Yeah.
And they do that right at the end of this one, don't they? When you get to California, it's like, here's helmet. It's like, mate, like, come on, I really want to get this done now. And you put helmets on them now. Like, behave yourself.
Yeah, because they give you a silenced assault rifle, and then they let you kill the first like 3. You're like, oh yeah, okay, cool, we're moving now, we're moving. And then all of a sudden, we're like, what is this guy got on his head? That's not right.
I think it's.
Do you know what I did for that bit? I released the clickers and the zombies in the on the chains, and then they just chased them around for a bit. Mate, so I just walked past them.
I tried that once, and it came off to me, and I was like, oh, for God's sake.
You know what I think is well? With that kind of like, I feel like from that whole Scar Island, pretty much right through to the end, you're basically fighting like 90% humans and 10% clicker, if you're lucky. Like there's a few clickers in LA or in California, but it just feels like it's a lot of time where you're going. And I find the whole game before that it breaks it quite well. You go human, a bit of clicker, human, a bit of clicker, but then it suddenly hits this period where you're like 3 hours worth of just fighting waves of people. Stick yourself behind cover and try and kill off the few you can. I think it's then where I felt like, this is getting. Come on, let's go.
I completely agree, by the way, but I was quite happy that Abby's story kind of morphed from her kind of non-revenge. Like she'd got her revenge, and then she'd kind of gone to forgiveness with letting Ellie and Dina and that go, and it kind of morphed into her trying to find / restart the Fireflies. I thought that was a nice way for her to kind of go before obviously she gets captured.
Yeah, I was surprised that she got captured, to be honest. I thought, I thought maybe Ellie's just going to kill her somehow, or she's just going to be off, and then we're not going to know. That's going to be how it ends. So they surprised me, the little capture, but
yeah,
I did like the moment where Ellie kills that one matey with the clicker in the tree.
Yeah, that's good. Pretty cool. I like that.
Where he's messing around with her, and it's like, I'm you, mate.
I think the last sector, I feel like Ellie turned proper like badass, and I like that.
Yeah, it's weird though. Like, it's almost like it was done, but then she has like a nightmare, I guess, and then she's like, I need to finish this, and like it goes off and does it. And then what I was going to say as well with what I found really weird is like when you're on that campsite, like Abby's literally taking on both camps. So like you're thinking, I'll run past this bit because they're like on our team, but no, apparently everyone knows that you're like not who you're supposed to be anymore, so you're going to die either way. Like either one of them, you're going to get killed, even though you're like
who I needed to kill there either. It was like, right, who's losing this fight so I can help and just get them done quickly. But it just seemed to be like a massive standoff, and it was like, I've got to deal
Well,
with
the
both.
worst bit for me was like you've got one of them on one side, one of them on the other side. So either way, someone's shooting at you from each side. So you just run down the middle and shoot both eyes. Yeah, it was interesting.
We haven't discussed how Tommy survived.
Yeah.
Weird.
I was surprised at that.
I thought he got straight up shot in the back of the head.
He did.
It's like, but then I don't know.
He lost an eye.
It's weird as well because you see him obviously, like he snipes her friend, the name who shall not be named because we don't know it, but he they have that big old the sniper war, don't they? When he's like shooting at him and Abby.
That was a good bit.
And stuff. Yeah, that was a good bit.
And
you're thinking like, this guy
Tommy,
tried to kill me, so why wouldn't I just kill him back?
Because I was confused about that. Because I thought the whole way up there, it's got to be Tommy, like that's firing at us. But then it feels like it's not when you get to him, and then. Oh no, it is, isn't it?
It is Tommy. It's 100% Tommy because she like fights him, doesn't she? But then he gets away somehow. I can't remember how he actually gets away now, but something happens for her to not be able to chase him.
Yeah,
so I really enjoyed that sniper battle. Actually, I thought that was pretty cool. The game has a lot of throwbacks, and Alex gonna laugh. Has a lot of throwbacks and nods to Metal Gear Solid. So Neil Druckmann. No, so Neil Druckmann, obviously the director of the game, whatever, like openly said that Metal Gear Solid has kind of inspired him because you've got the character switch, which is akin to Metal Gear Solid 2 when you're supposed to play a Snake, and then here's Raiden for 80% of the game. They actively changed trailers in the build-up because there's a famous trailer where Joel is with Ellie, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not going to let you do this alone." When in actual fact, it's everyone's favorite death, Jesse, who is actually in that proper trailer. And then there's a sniper battle, which is akin to the end in Metal Gear Solid 3. And finally, I guess we might as well go to it now, like the final bit in the game, the epic Abby versus Ellie battle, which straight away reminded me of Metal Gear Solid 4 on top of that tanker ship, Old Snake versus Ocelot, two old men duking it out and like souping each other up with injections the whole way. That's all I thought about during that last moment. And I was like, I can't take this seriously. This is just Snake and Ocelot. It's just going at it, old men.
That fight went on for ages as well. It was like, oh, Leo, come on.
Do you know, it was weird as well. I don't know about you guys, but I got well annoyed when you finally get through the mansion. You go to the sort of cell where all the like prisoners are held captive. And you get there and she's like, "Where's Abby?" And she's like, "Oh, she escaped like an hour ago. She went that way." Like, literally, like you get all the way through, you fight all the way through there, and then you're like, "Oh, she's not here." It's like knocking on a friend that you've travelled half an hour to see, and it's like, "Oh no, it's not him. Sorry." Yeah, I was just like, "Oh my god." And then I don't know if you guys did this, but when you then get down to the little like bit where there's loads of people like stood up, hung up sort of thing, I tried to jump onto the like beach bit, and it was like she was like really hurt, so it acted out like, "Oh, I can't make that jump." And I was like, "Oh my god." I was like walking around for ages going, "What am I supposed to be looking for here?" Like,
I did the same thing. I was looking around and I was like, "There's nothing to interact with here." So then eventually, like Abby showed up, and I was like, "Oh, no, I missed that."
Oh, you're supposed to see this one, and I found it really funny because then she literally chased her. She helped her up there, and I was like, "Oh, so you can climb up there? You just decided not to, obviously." And
I didn't recognise Abby at all. Like, just
no, well, that was it as well. That's what I was going to say. Like, she had a haircut and she got very thin.
I think by that kind of moment, it's like, oh, this girl's been through it now. I'm kind of like let's let it be. And Ellie, I thought Ellie was almost just gonna let it go, be like, "Oh, sweet." But then she was like, "Nah, it's time for one more round."
As soon as Ellie was like, "No, let's go, let's finish this," from that point on, I was hoping they both killed each other, and then that was it. Because I personally feel like that would have been a fitting end, because both of them would then have completely lost everything because they've both been idiots throughout.
I thought Ellie was gonna die regardless. I almost thought, oh, Ellie's going to kill her and then she's going to die because she had that massive wound or whatever it was going to be.
Well, she lost 2 fingers, didn't she?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought, what I will say though, is when you do the final fight between Abby and Ellie, I was a lot more pumped up for that fight as Ellie than I was when I was with Abby, that's for sure. I was totally ready to unleash hell. But
yeah, I thought it was quite sad at the end. Mark knows, but the Ellie losing her fingers is a bit of a moment for me because my old man has also lost part of his fingers recently. So I was like,
really?
just like my dad's. Bit fingerless there.
well,
but
at
I
least
thought it was
you know that you can play the guitar.
That's true.
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
just going to say that. Like, I thought it was quite sad that the game starts with Ellie playing a guitar and ends with her unable to play the guitar because she's lost those fingers.
Yeah. It's I mean, what do you think there'll be like another one? Do you think they'll follow up from this? Because obviously they both went their separate ways. Because I feel like they can't make it about Ellie going back after Abby, surely. But
oh no,
where is she going?
I don't know. I almost don't see the need for another one now, to be honest.
Oh, I don't know. I feel like there's more need now than there was after the first one.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, well, I'm thinking Ellie's got 2 choices. She either goes after Dina and lives happily ever after, or goes after Abby again. Like, maybe, I don't know. Although she let Abby go, but I don't know. I feel like that ending was like Ellie's got something in her mind. And then the other thing is Abby. So the end title screen is the boat at I forget where the Fireflies were. I think it's Catalina Island. So the boat is at Catalina Island where she was going, where the Fireflies are. So Abby's made it. Abby and Eleven made it to the Fireflies. So there's that route to go down as well.
Yeah. Or they just prequel it and be like, hey, there's a bit more Joel.
Oh, I hate prequels.
I wouldn't mind Joel though.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I guess we'll have to see. I enjoy the games, to be fair. So
that's good.
I did think that
when we finished it, you know, you kind of get to the end and it's like you're kind of waiting for the credits and all that stuff, and there's the moment where she puts the guitar against the window and it kind of zooms in on the guitar. I'm pretty certain my missus at the time was like, "Oh, Joel's going to come out and grab the guitar from the window," and I was like, "That'd be the most epic thing I've ever seen." It happens.
Faked his death with a giant hole in his head.
Mild concussion. It's just a mild concussion.
Yeah.
Got a bandage around his head so that I'm covering.
I admit at that point in the game I was like, oh, here we go, another 10 hours, someone's going to show up here. It was too long. It was way too long.
For me, it was that whole bit. Basically, once you get to the farm, I was like, this has got to be it. And then after everything after that, I was like, this just feels too long now. Even like the Seraph Island, I was like, okay, I get why I've got to do this. But then after that, I was just like, oh man, come on.
I get the story they told. Like, I feel like all those like story beats should have been told. I just feel like some of the segments should have been condensed down. I think in particular, Abby's segments should have been shorter in places.
Yes, again, I think if it was like, and even the last one for Ellie, if it was the Seraph Island in that last gang you fight, didn't feel like such a chore to get through, I think it would have felt all right. If it was, or even if it was more, oh, there's a lot of clickers here on the California side of things, just so you kind of end it with like the bit I like the most. But it's that it really got to the stage where I was like, right, it's basically a case of cover, try and deal with these guys sneakily. They've got helmets now, so I'm going to set bombs and things like that. But it was really just going through the motions of, I want to get through this now, opposed to enjoying doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the thing for me with that one is like is it like the train station bit? You know, when you're as Ellie trying to break through, and you think, okay, I've got to get through that. And there was a lot of people there, by the way. Like,
yeah.
Like, I think there was a couple of dogs as well, and you're like, right, I've got myself through that, and then you get there, and then you're like, oh, I've now got to break into a massive mansion and get through that, and I was just like, oh my god, this is just like a little bit tedious now, but
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I did. Go on.
I was going to bloody dogs.
Honestly, I did not appreciate those dogs at all.
No,
Like,
not
especially when they
they're
just catch
a
us
pain.
in. What so obviously that's pretty much the story now complete. Who do you think was the main villain, or who do you think is the villain from the game?
it's Joel, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it probably I guess you're seeing it more from their side, aren't you? So I
yeah. If you
guess
look at it from
in
both
some
Ellie
respect,
and Abby side of things, it's probably Joel. And even if it's not by the end for Ellie, it certainly was for most of the game.
Yeah, I mean Joel's decision. I mean Joel is a bad person, I guess. Like he's done a lot of bad things. I know it's like a weird world and stuff, and we all like Joel. We've all got a soft spot for Joel. But like his decision at the end of the original game literally causes all of this,
Yeah,
all the deaths.
yeah.
Now, whether it was right or wrong for him to
do that.
like save Ellie, like that's questionable. But maybe the way he did it was not the best, to just go in and just guns blazing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's quite interesting, isn't it? Because I think one of the flashbacks, isn't it, of him, Joel, and Ellie saying, "Why did you save me? Like, you should just let me
Yeah,
die, and we could have
Pretty
had the
much.
cure.
Yeah.
Like,
there's
one
also
sacrifice
there's
is
also the
enough."
flashback which I thought was interesting of Marlene with the doctor. I forget the doctor's name. He's like the most important character, really. And like Marlene's like pleading, like we shouldn't do this. What if it was your daughter? Like I didn't
Yeah.
realize that. I thought Marlene was just cold as anything playing the original game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true, actually, isn't it? But then they grew up with she got to know Ellie in the first game, didn't she, quite a bit as well? So
Yeah.
I guess it kind of made a bit of sense. No, it was so do you think there'll be another one? Do you think, I mean, they could even do it as Abby's story, right?
Yeah, I think there will be. I don't know what they'll do with it yet, though.
Like,
Which
could you do it
yeah, like
as like a
go on.
Firefly catching Ellie again, like someone trying to go and catch Ellie instead to then try and get the cure again or something? If you're listening, Naughty Dog, you're welcome.
I mean, would Ellie?
Oh yeah, that's fair. Though. It could be that sort of thing of like you're Abby at the Fireflies, and she's like, oh yeah, and the girl who you were looking for years ago is still out there. I know where she is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite good. I would like to play again as Abby from the Fireflies like perspective. I feel like when there is a part 3, and there will be because this thing makes dollar.
Yeah, that's
That'll
it.
and they're making a TV series as well. That will
I,
be that'll be what happens. Yeah.
that'd be pretty cool. Although, would it be the same as the game, I guess?
Well, it's just the world, isn't it? So, I mean, I'm kind of worried this is eventually going to go Walking Dead style, where like the zombies or clickers or whatever end up becoming like the background.
Yeah.
Like we
True.
kind of discussed that earlier.
Yeah, that is actually really true. Yeah, well, what I would say is I did enjoy it. I did think it finished 3 times, but it was it was still worth obviously the playing. I will probably play it again as well at some point.
Do you
Yeah.
guys? Because obviously this is the highest rated game I think in years. Like, do you reckon it deserved the 10 out of 10s?
I don't think it was 10 out of 10. I think it was real close, like 9.5, something if you want to call it that. But I think there was little things where I'm like, no, I'm no game developer, but I'm like, surely it would have been easy for you just to do a few more character models or like a few little things like that could have made like a big difference, I reckon. I just don't remember that from the first game at all.
Yeah, I feel like the first game had more atmosphere. It had the Joel and Ellie like relationship, which for me sold me on that game, and is why it's one of my favorite games ever. I agree with you. I don't think it's a 10 out of 10. I think it's very close. It is a wonderful game, but I don't think it doesn't reach the levels the original did, and in a way that I always think that was kind of be impossible.
Yeah, I think you've both pretty much hit that nail on the head there. I think it was definitely close. I think there was some things that, yeah, they could have potentially improved on, but overall, I was quite happy with the game. I thought it was really good.
It's an amazing game. Like, and I reckon it'll be one of those games that you'll talk about for years. Just what's the best game you played? No, it's definitely up there.
Yeah. What's the next game we're going to play though? I guess we've got, what's it called? I don't even remember what the name's called, but
Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost. That's it. Yeah. I saw the advert the other day for it, and I actually think it looks like a really, really good game.
That could be good. Very different from Sucker Punch, but it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I miss the old Infamous games. I miss them. But no, I feel like I'm ready for another kind of open world game. I hate playing open world games so much. I've not played one in, God, I can't remember the last one I played, but maybe last year actually. I'm ready now. I'm ready for an open world game that gives me a samurai sword.
Yeah.
Like GTA with a sword, but it'll be good.
And the wind.
And no cast.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Horsepower only.
Well, yeah. It has a scary mask as well, but
that's true. I have one when I go to Sainsbury's these days.
I'm laughing because I've seen that mask as well. It's like you're going to do some sort of industrial paint job, but yeah, I like it.
Brilliant.
Well, thanks guys for your time. It's been fun to talk about this game. I think we probably could have talked another 3 hours about this, right? Probably even missed some stuff, but
well, certainly.
Yeah. But so yeah, if you listeners at home can please give us a search on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you search for Pause Resume, you will find our webpage there with all of our other previous podcasts, as well as some other sort of news that we give out as well. And if you do have any questions, or you think we've missed something out that you want us to talk more of, please email show@pauseresume.com. Also, our very own Craig did a interview the other week, which is actually live as well now, with Chris Scullion. Give that a good listen, because it's actually quite good. I listened to it the other day. Do you want to give us a little bit more info on it, Craig?
So Chris used to work for the Nintendo official magazine. He now runs his own site, tiredoldhack.com. And we just had a lovely little chat about games journalism in the UK, old magazines, retro consoles. He's making he's the author of the unofficial, because you have to say unofficial, NES Encyclopedia, and he's bringing out his SNES and Mega Drive ones in I think SNES is out this year, Mega Drive next year. But that's not all. We've got another couple of interviews coming, I think probably before our next main show comes out in August. All I will say about both of them is that they are going to be very American focused. So that's the tease.
You guys are in for a lucky treat. And there's a reference into that when you listen to the old interviews. So be aware. But no, thanks for everything, guys, again. And like you said, we will look to come back to you again on August the 3rd, and we'll be talking about the Xbox Series and some other news. So we will see you all then.